Across the state, about 3,400 Medicaid service providers are trying to prove that they're not fraudsters gaming the system.
The state cut off about 60% of providers after a rapid revalidation process ended last week. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard talked with several of business owners over the last couple of weeks or so. So he is now live in Minneapolis tonight. So Corin, this has to be a frustrating time for a lot of people at this point.
Yeah, Simone, from just about every angle. I think probably the most frustrated are the families who rely on these services to help them. But, you know, 3,400 plus providers, they are also very frustrated, and they're not able to provide these services. I've talked to a lot of them who believe that they did everything that they were supposed to do throughout this revalidation process, provided all the paperwork they were supposed to. Even after a back and forth with the Department of Human Services, they ended up getting disenrolled, and a lot of them are now going to their lawmakers and trying to make the case there, but it's also true that they're not able to really break through in a lot of cases. And, if they were, disenrolled, it looks bad for them. But, the DHS really only seems to believe a small number of them actually committed fraud.
To me, it's a real slap in the face to providers and to our communities to see stellar people who actually serve vulnerable adults. These are not the people that flew in from Pennsylvania and stole $3.5 million and never provided a service in the state of Minnesota. Those businesses did real well. They're thriving because they never served anybody. They didn't hire an employee. They didn't serve a vulnerable adult.
So, Corin, what is the situation now for the providers who are doing what they say is legitimate work, but who are now cut off from Medicaid funding? How is the appeal process going so far?
I'd have to say, Kelsey, it seems to be going pretty slowly. It might be because of the sheer numbers here. 3,400 is about 60% of the providers who are going through this revalidation process, and so a lot of them are in line, and it's hard to get them through. One of them is Options Incorporated. They're a company up in Big Lake that provides day and employment services for developmentally disabled adults. They put a lot of them to work at their site, and then they also try to find jobs out in the community for a lot of them. They work with almost 200 people, and they try to get many of them basically out into independent living. Now, they've done this in Sherburne County for a long time, since back in 1979. So more than 40 years they've been doing this. And for the last 8 of those years, Hannah Verdick has been one of their visitors. She is a smiley and sociable 29-year-old. She will never be fully independent, but Options gives her a place to live her life to the fullest while letting her parents both hold jobs. And so cutting off funding for Options and potentially ending their license in the next couple of months puts everybody there in a bad spot.
It's desperate for us. It's desperate for her. Because, yes, it would be a great impact on her life that would not go well.
I have 187 people that won't have anyone to support them on August 1st. And I need for people to take this seriously.
Corin, we just heard that family say, this time is desperate for us. Have we heard from DHS about what is going on with maybe other potential options and other providers as well?
Yeah, so I heard from them late this afternoon, and, Options says that they were doing a back and forth with the DHS. They started the revalidation process because it's on a regular cycle. They started it in May of 2025. In April of 2026, they started hearing from DHS. They went back and forth, submitted the final paperwork that DHS asked for on May 20th. DHS says that wasn't enough time for them to get through the rest of the process, and so they're still working on that. DHS also got back to us on a few of the other providers we've been talking to over the last couple of weeks, and all of them seem to be moving in the right direction. One of them, Bellamente, which is up on the North Shore, has been revalidated, but they told me today, yeah, they're revalidated, but the state also will not accept their billing. So when they submit a bill, it gets rejected, which is essentially just the same as being disenrolled.
All right, complicated issue. So many people involved in this right now, and it doesn't look like the solutions are apparent for the immediate future. So, all right, Corin, you'll continue following this, and we'll see you back here in a little bit.